everyone, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Okay, so today, and I need to specify here at the time of recording, not at the time of watching, but at the time of recording, is my birthday. To be specific, May the 12th is my birthday, so I decided to celebrate my birthday by doing a birthday book tag. I have done this in the past, in the past anyway. I have found a way to incorporate celebrating my birthday on my channel with something to do with books. Last year I did something a little bit different. This year I'm going back to doing my birthday book tag because I love it, and you all seem to love book tags as well as much as I do, and it's a great chance to go down memory lane, whether it's looking back into the past or looking ahead to the future doing book tags, and I love that there's a birthday one. So let's jump right on in. Before I do, please let me know in the comments below if you want to see more book tags on my channel. I know that I haven't done a lot of them in 2023, so if you missed them and you'd like to see more, let me know. If I see a number of you saying that you want to see more of them, then I will certainly bring a lot more back to you. Alright, without any further ado, here is the birthday book tag. Let's begin. Prompt number 1. Birthday Cake. A book with a plot that seems cliche, but you adore it anyway. Alright, so I actually thought about this one for a little while, but I've got 2 books that I'm going to discuss in a response to this prompt, and the first one I'm going to respond with is this book, Date Me Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy. This is a YA male romance, and I gave this an overwhelming 5 stars when I read it, and still to this day it's a book that I always think about. Now, to the cliche side of it, I mean, seriously, boy meets boy, one boy is, I don't know, gay, bi, something like that, the other one is straight, boy falls in love with boy, other boy falls in love right back, and they all live happily ever after. It's the oldest story in the book. It's the oldest cliche in the world, especially when it comes to romances, but I love it anyway. And the reason I love it is because despite the fact that despite the fact that every single male romance that I've read revolves around exactly that, a male romance, what I love about Date Me Bryson Keller is that it is a romance without too many other obstacles coming up in between. It's just a beautiful story about 2 boys who fall in love. Whereas a lot of the male romances I've read could be mistaken easily as being male hard-hitting contemporary romances. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by that, what I'm referring to is a hard-hitting contemporary is any sort of book, it doesn't have to be male, where we deal with hard-hitting topics such as grief, loss, mental health issues, things of that nature, something that would be a hard-hitting topic, and it can sometimes get in the way of the romance, whether it is an obstacle to the romance itself, so that is directly to the plot, or indirectly as the reader reading it, it can get in the way of you enjoying a nice sweet romance, where this book is literally your cliche of a nice sweet romance, and I absolutely adore it. I highly recommend it. Now, I want to also give you a fantasy recommendation, and for that one I'm going to recommend this book, Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. Okay, this is purely a cliche because J.K. Rowling got in first with Harry Potter. So we follow a girl by the name of Morrigan Crow who is cursed because she's born on a specific date in a specific year where all the children born on that day are cursed to die at a certain point. She is living with her family who are just horrible people, and she ends up being whisked away by Jupiter, who is a magical man, to his magical land of Nevermore, saying, if you don't want to die, why should you? And she's introduced to the school over there where she can learn more about who she is, because there is more to her than meets the eye. She has magical abilities. So it deals with the whole magic school trope, the whole, if you want to talk in terms of Harry Potter, born as you think you're a muggle, but then you find out that you have magical powers, so you're introduced to the world of magic when you never thought it existed trope, anything to do with young children tropes that come up in these situations as well. It is incredibly trope and cliche filled. But for me, I was actually looking for a series that would help me get over my bookish hangover that I had with the Harry Potter series. And this series works really well for me. I think book 4 is coming out either this year or next year, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So those are my two books for this prompt: Date Me Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy and Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. Prompt number 2, Party Guests. Your most anticipated release for this year. I don't even need to think, okay? I already know what this book is. Let's just give a very quick honourable mention shout out to Blueberry Blunder by Amanda Flower. I mean, I would not be able to forgive myself if I didn't give this book a shout out. I am greatly anticipating this. I love the Amish Candy Shop series, and it should be coming out on audiobook very soon. Can't wait to consume it. That aside, the book that I am most eagerly anticipating is this book, Lament at Loon Landing by Josh Lanyon, book number 6 in the Secrets and Scribbles series. This book has been promised to be out for a very long time. We were originally promised that this book would come out in September last year. Then in halfway through September, we were promised it would be October. In October, we were promised it would be in November. In November, we were promised it would be in December. In December, we were promised it would be in January. In January, we were promised it would be in February. In February, we were promised it would be in March. In March, we were promised it would be in April. And then somewhere in late April / early May, the ebook finally came out. It took forever. And Josh Lanyon, I'm following Josh Lanyon actually on Facebook. And when it was released, Josh Lanyon was actually quoted as saying, "I hope you like it, but whether you do or whether you don't, I just don't care anymore." She was obviously joking, but I think she was making the point that it just took so long to get this book out. This book had originally been released. It was released last year alongside book number 7, but then there were some issues, so it was recalled back to do some more editing and stuff like that. And so book number 7, the physical book as well as the audiobook, have been available all this time, but we just were waiting for book 6 to come out. Now, because I'm a series purist, I have read books 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I will not read book 7. I refuse to read book 7 until I've read book 6. Josh Lanyon has said you can read book 7 without it affecting anything for book 6, but I just can't personally do that. So I cannot wait to finally read Lament at Loon Landing. The ebook came out, as I said, either late last month or early this month. The physical book has just come out in the last couple of days. I just checked today and I saw that it was available on Amazon, so I've put it in my shopping cart and I'm definitely going to be getting it, but I'm now waiting for the audiobook to come out. And I've spoken to the narrator, whose name is, I think, Matthew. Yes, so the audiobook narrator's name is Matthew, but goes by Matt Hayes. And I had spoken to Matt before on, I had messaged him on Facebook because he's an amazing narrator. He narrates all the books in this series. And I was asking him what was going on with Lament at Loon Landing. And once the ebook was released, I asked him if he knew how long it would take for us to get the audiobook. And Matt responded to me, and I quote, saying, "Look for it around late May / early June, ... if you can wait." And I mean, I think my response was that I can't. Yeah, I said something like, "Don't know if I can wait." Then again, I've been waiting since October. So I'm really, if you haven't worked it out by now, really looking forward to reading Lament at Loon Landing. Cannot wait to get onto it. In case you don't know, the premise of this series is that we follow Ellery Page, who was gifted a bookstore in the will of a family member after they passed away that he is running. What sets this series, this cozy mystery series, apart from others is that, unlike the majority of other cozy mysteries out there, our protagonist in this series is a male, which is definitely not common, and as a male, he just also so happens to be gay. There are a lot of cozy mystery tropes in this book, like falling in love with the cop or detective or whatever it is, running a bookstore, things like that, but I really appreciate reading a cozy mystery series that comes from the perspective of a male, in any case, but also a male that just so happens to be gay. I love this series. I think it's fantastic, and I love the cover of Lament at Loon Landing. Can't wait to read that one. Prompt number 3, Birthday Presents, a book that surprised you with how much you loved it. Oh my goodness. I think I have to. Okay, I think I have to go with As Told by the Boys by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This is book 1.5 from the Zodiac Academy adult fantasy series. Technically new adult. I just don't use the term new adult, and so I either upgrade or downgrade. I'm upgrading it to adult because it has adult themes. I didn't know how I was going to feel about this. I went into both The Awakening and this particular book being warned, I should say, rather than being told, being warned that it deals with a lot of bullying, and someone else had told me years ago, you're not gonna like this series, it is definitely not for you, don't even pick it up, Mr. Francy. So I went in with a little anxiety, wondering how things would go with me, but oh my gosh, from sentence 1, paragraph 1 of this book, all the way through to the end, again, I specify, As Told by the Boys. The Awakening was good, but I'm specifically referring to As Told by the Boys. From sentence 1, paragraph 1, all the way through to the final paragraph, final sentence of this book, I was hooked on this book. So to be told, watch out, there's a lot of bullying, and also, Mr. Francy, you're not going to like it. I know your taste. You're just really going to hate this book and this series. Oh my gosh, I loved this book so much. So it shocked me in many ways. Not only did it shock me that I loved it as much as I did, but the book is actually rather shocking itself. But the shockingness factor of the book doesn't take away from the fact that I loved it. Something can be shocking, but also be shockingly amazing. And that's what that book was for me. So that book definitely fits that prompt for me. Prompt number 4, Happy Birthday Song, a book that certainly deserved all the hype it got. I mean, there are just so many. Let's give a quick shout out to Mistborn The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, book 1 in the Mistborn series. It absolutely deserved all the hype it got. I am someone who doesn't typically pick up a book because it is hyped. In fact, if there is a book on that hype train, I say to the train, keep on going, and I'll get on board maybe in a couple of years, but I won't get on now because I'm turned off a lot by hype. But I had heard so much about Mistborn The Final Empire that it was rather infectious in a way. Like, I had to pick it up because I'd heard so many good things about it, and it was just as good, if not better, than I was expecting it to be because of all the hype that it had. So it absolutely deserved it. Assaulted Caramel by Amanda Flower, book 1 in the Amish Candy Shop series. Oh my goodness. You know, I first started finding out about Cozy Mysteries in June of 2021. I didn't know about the series prior to that. And once I started having conversations with Cozy Mystery readers, I kept hearing so many things about Amish Candy Shop series, especially Assaulted Caramel. I went into that book so anxious because I thought, oh my goodness, what if I don't like this book? You know, it's going to be such a letdown, but I loved it so much. It was definitely worth the hype. City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Oh my goodness, YA fantasy. People were divided by this book. Like, I cannot tell you how much they were. There were people who absolutely loved this book and this series out there, and people who absolutely could not stand the book, could not stand the author, couldn't believe what the author had done when it came to this book. In case you don't know, apparently this series originated as a fanfic series on fanfiction.net. I did not know that, but I don't have a problem with that if it did, because I love my fanfics. I love the opposite to fanfic, which is Fiction Press. They're both the same company. I not only have loved reading books from fanfic.net and fictionpress.net, but I've also uploaded books to both sites, many books to both sites. So I have no problem if a book has gone from fanfic and then become a published work. But that's what they're saying happened. And again, that doesn't affect me. So I picked up book 1 because of how much was being made of the book, and because of how divided readers seemed to be, that I was so intrigued to see where I was going to land. I literally purchased book one thinking I would hate it and that I was going to do a ranting review on how horrible this book was, and I loved it so much that I since then have gone on to read the entire the entire Mortal Instruments series. I read books 1 and 2 and then DNF The Infernal Devices, and I've just about a week ago finished books 1 and 2 in the Eldest Curses series. Very much surprised me and deserved all the hype that it did have from all those who love book 1. Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. I know there are going to be a number of you out there going, but Mr. Francy, Twilight is so awful because of this, and this. I don't care. It is a guilty pleasure for me. I love Twilight. The world building in Twilight is fantastic. Stephanie Meyer is an incredible visionary when it comes to world building. Is her writing some of the best writing I've ever read? No, but for me, I prefer basic writing style anyway. But she shines when it comes to the world building of vampires and werewolves in this world that we're in. I mean, yes, it's based in a human world, but all of the magic systems, if you will, but specifically world building when it comes to vampire lore, werewolf lore, all that sort of things. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing. And the series was so enticing as a read for me. I could go on, but we're going to run out of time, so I'll leave it at that. So many good books that definitely deserved the hype. Prompt number 5, Happy Music, a book with some very beautiful and truly memorable quotes. You know what? That's just really not my thing. I am just not. I know there are a lot of people out there who love to save quotes, and I did go through a period where I was loving saving quotes. But these days, if I were to pick a book up off my shelf that I'd read a while ago, the memory that stays with me is the overall plot and characters and emotion that I had when reading the book, but not specific quotes that are there. I will say, because I'm just thinking about it now, the camaraderie between Kaladin and... oh my gosh, I can't think of her name, but the main woman and Kaladin in Stormlight Archives, they have an amazing sarcastic wit banter about them that I love, but could I quote anything specifically about them? No. So yeah, this prompt is kind of a fail for me because I can't think of any quotes from any of the books that I've read. So yeah, I mean, I think the only quote that I have in my mind right now is from book 1 in the Magic Bookshop series by Amanda Flower, where one of the characters says, "The books talk to me." I think, but that's, not because I remember it for the quote that it was, but I remember it because I actually wrote it in my review for the book because it's part of the magic system of the book. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on. This was a fail. That's okay. If you want, you can help me make up for this by putting some bookish quotes in the comments below. Let's move on. Prompt number 6, Getting Older, a book that you read a long time ago, but you think you would appreciate more if you read it as a more mature reader. Yes, I know the one, but I don't remember the title. This book, The Dead Girls Detective Agency by Susie Cox. I read this book, I think it was in February or March or something like that in 2020 when I was just starting out on BookTube. And I think I gave this book 3 stars, if I remember correctly. It was either 3 or 2. And the reason why I gave it 3 or 2 stars is not a reason that would hold up to this day. Let me give you one of the reasons why I did. There are some famously established things that come up in this book. So to give you an example, Titanic, the film, is quoted a lot in this book. And I dropped a star. Dropped a star from my rating because I thought, you can't do that. Copyright and right, like, I was a very young, immature reader when I started my channel. Because how many books that you've read mention a famous movie or character or something like, or whatever, something famous that's already established? People do that all the time. And I have learned to embrace it, not only to accept it, but to embrace it. If you want to be bluntly obvious in what you do in your book when you are referencing something, then I think that's fantastic. If I get the reference, yay. If you want to be subtle about it, but I still get it, then yay as well. So in that case, if I gave this book 2 stars, already I'm going to add a star and make it 3 because it's something I'm more used to now. And I have been wanting to read this book for a long time. The only thing that's stopping me is I cannot find the audiobook for book 2. If I can one day find the audiobook for book 2, or if you know of somewhere where the audiobook for book 2 of this is, then I will put the series on my SAS list and reread The Dead Girls Detective Agency by Susie Cox, and then go on to read book number 2, because yeah, I make that vow. I think this book was really good, and I think I was incredibly harsh with my rating. And finally, prompt number 7, Sweet Birthday Memories, a book that kept you incredibly happy during a sad or demanding period of your life. I have a number of them, so let me go get some books and I'll be right back. Alright, I have 3 books to answer this question. I could have had a whole lot more, but I don't want to have too many. So, the first one I'm going to discuss is Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. This is an adult memoir that I gave 5 stars to. I had just come off reading a tough book, which I don't remember what it was. Okay, so I'll explain this very quickly because I just looked it up to see what it was. So I had 3 books beforehand come off reading The Rage of Dragons, but was disappointed that I couldn't go straight on to reading book number 2 because it wasn't available yet in audiobook form. Then went on to read Revenge Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger, and the ending incredibly disappointed me of that one. And then I read The Crown, which is the final book in the selection series, and I cried at the ending of that one, and then picked up this book and read it in a day, Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. It is lighthearted, it is fun, it is funny. This was exactly what I needed in that moment. Have you ever had books like that where you pick up a book and you say to yourself, this was exactly what I needed right now? That was exactly what I needed right now. It turned my reading time around from just either books that were disappointing me or books that were extremely heavy to me to something that was so lighthearted and fun. I highly recommend it if you've seen Lauren Graham in anything, but particularly in Gilmore Girls. If you love her character of Lorelai, this book reads like Lorelai is reading it to you, and she narrates the book as well on audiobook. Lauren Graham has gone on to release a second memoir that I read this year, Have I Told You This Already? And I loved it just as much, so highly recommend. Next one to answer this prompt will be this book, Divergent by Veronica Roth. Okay, so I had seen Divergent twice, the film, twice before I picked up the book, but I did not remember a lot about the film when I picked up the book because it had been quite some time since I had watched it. And I absolutely grew to love this book. It was this book that helped me to realize just how much I love dystopians. While I have to say a big shout out to the selection series and to the Hunger Games, despite the fact that we will never talk about book number 3 on this channel of Hunger Games ever again. No, goodbye. Divergent is what helped me to realize just how much I love dystopians. Dystopians, for those who don't know, a dystopian is a book that is set in a world that is opposite to a utopia where everything is happy, everyone's joyous and having a good time, everything's perfect. Well, what's the opposite to that? Well, big black clouds, and I'm just looking at the cover because there are big black clouds on the cover. Big black clouds, a tyrant, overbearing tyrant ruling the world, things are really tough, things like that. And Divergent just made me so happy. I remember reading this thinking, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I need to read book number 2. I don't exactly remember whether I was going through a sad or demeaning period of my life when I was reading Divergent, but I do remember that it just left me so happy. I loved the Harry Potter series, as I've said many times already in this video. But one of the things I love about the Harry Potter series was the sorting ceremony, where all the students are sorted into their houses. There is a sorting ceremony of sorts that goes on in this book at the beginning, when the children become of adult age. And rather than in Harry Potter, where the sorting hat chooses what house to place the students in the world of Divergent, when you come of age, you sort yourself into a faction. And so I found that to be incredibly intriguing, and that happens right at the very beginning of the book, not page 1, but within chapter 1 or chapter 2, something like that. And so I found that incredibly intriguing, and also the world building. Oh my gosh, and the factions themselves, I mean, which is part of the world building. Oh my gosh, I gobbled this book up. I have it in hardcover, and the reason I'm saying that is because I do not have a lot of hardcovers on my shelves at all, but I love this series so much that I upgraded to the hardcover box set, US edition, and it is just fantastic. What is the publisher of this one? The Catherine Tegan Books Editions. I just love this cover. I love this book. It made me incredibly happy. The third and final book that I'm going to recommend, it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what genres or age ratings you like to read. It doesn't matter what type of mood you're in. If you want to be left with an incredibly happy, gooey, mushy, overjoyed, going past cloud 9 onto cloud 21, as I used to say, ray of sunshine feeling, you absolutely must temporarily put down what you're reading and pick up this book, Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Oh my gosh, I want to do a reread, and when I have a chance, I will definitely do a reread of this book as well as book 2, The House at Pooh Corner. Books 3 and 4 are poems, so I'm not reading them because I'm not a poem reader, but books 1 and 2 are definitely standard books, and oh my gosh, I love them. Whether you've seen the film adaptations or the TV show adaptations of Winnie the Pooh, and whether you know them or love them or not, oh my gosh, you have to pick up the original canonical work. A.A. Milne did an amazing job there. It's very serialized in that every chapter is its own story, and so it's not like a continued story as you would get with a standard chapter novel, but all the stories are just beautiful. They are heartwarming. They come with some really sweet lessons. Despite the fact that it's a classic and was written a long time ago, the writing is so easy to read, which the majority of the time with classics it's not. Yeah, if you're just feeling a little bit down in the dumps right now, put down what you're currently reading. You'll get back to it soon enough because this is a short book, and pick this up because oh my gosh, it is absolutely amazing. And I love the edition that I have of this book too. It is a hardcover as well. I'm trying to find out what the publishing company is. It says that it is Dutton Children's Books, Penguin Young Readers Group, I think. Yep, from New York. It's the edition that has the green cover with the gold border and the gold writing on it. It is absolutely stunning. It's stunning in picture form, but it is even more stunning in holding it in person. And again, I would not have this as a hardcover if I didn't like the book. I will only upgrade and spend more money on a hardcover if the book means that much to me. And this one absolutely did. So I highly recommend that. And if you want something even shorter that will make your day really, really, really happy as well, let's put this up to The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. This is a middle grade literary fiction that is really easy to read because it's basically a picture book. There's like 1 or maximum 2 lines per page, and on audiobook I think it goes for an hour. It is just so incredibly thought-provoking and yet incredibly sweet and kind and beautiful, and everyone needs to read that book as well. All right, there we go. Those are all the 7 prompts for the happy birthday tag. Is that what it's called? I don't even know. The birthday book tag. All 7 prompts for the birthday book tag. Booktag. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you'd like to see more tags on my channel, please let me know in the comments below. I do enjoy doing them. I just haven't done them a lot this year. So if you want more and you let me know, I will do more. And if I don't hear that you'll want more, that's fine. I just won't do them as often as I used to because I have other content that I want to do. So, but I'm happy to satisfy either way. So you let me know in the comment section below. So yeah, and now I'm going to go off to celebrate the rest of my birthday. And yeah, I just want to say thank you very much to everyone who has stuck with me for however long you have been here. If you're watching this video right now, there is a reason, and so I appreciate it. Whether this is the first day that you've clicked on any of my videos, hi and welcome to Mr. Francy Reads, where we have a lot of fun. Or whether you have been with me for a year or 2 years, or you've been with me from the very beginning, which was in January of 2020, I thank you very, very much for your love and your support. I always end my videos by saying that you should spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world, and that is my number one wish for my birthday, and it has been for the past couple of years, is that as much as it's so beautiful whenever I receive a physical gift for my birthday, and I do love it, don't get me wrong, the number one wish that I have every single birthday is that everyone do something nice for someone else so that we can spread love and positivity and kindness throughout the world. And I know it may sound like a cliche, but if you look around the world these days, and even the last 3 years, it can do with a lot more love than it has. So, you know, please don't take this as me just saying it to whatever. I actually mean it when I say it. Please do, you know, in honor of my birthday, if you can go out there and do one nice thing for one person, that would be amazing. And if they can pass that on to someone else and pass it on to someone else, the world will be a much happier place. So in honor of my birthday, go out and do one nice thing for someone. And if you want, let me know in the comments below what it was. But in the meantime, we've run out of time. So that's where I'm going to leave it, letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone.